As I've made mention of previously with Dynasty, I considered our origin together. This is very much a first introduction to me welcoming yet another European talent, and one that I'm obviously going to favor going forward because they're quite strong. Maybe some of you took the journey with me in the preceding works on Firesign via, at least the ones I've picked for selection, Breathe With Me and The Grey. We just came off of that one. That number's so good. As well as the title track. We're getting to the title track, but the introductory work with Breathe With Me was so strong. But, as I said, in consideration, I have a lot of Dynasty's numbers lined up in terms of getting a well-rounded perspective, because many of you know when I highlight music artists, especially on the introductory phase, I love to get a well-rounded approach, especially in perhaps fostering a path, for fellow listeners and viewers who might not have humored many of the talents I feature here. And I love being able to have that collaborative experience with music. As I've said many times, it is a first love in my life as an art form. But the collaborative mutuality and experience of what we can humor together as satisfying good art, I welcome that opportunity. It's been a long-time aspiration to showcase music, good music even more specifically, and every track and every artist I've highlighted here has fit that mold quite well. Whether it be on familiar names to me or first introductions, many of which are supplied by you, the viewers, via your recommendations, and I welcome those readily, and you've given me so many in terms of deepening my understanding with the European rock and metal foray, and I'm quite grateful for you for that. Because this space in the world is just thriving so much. I mean, I'm a devout metalhead by choice, but you consider the personality of Europe, and it's various countries as well with all their groups. There's such unique stylings to each individual presence that I deeply cherish. Dynasty, as well, in terms of first introductions, set a nice mood in terms of evoking a classic rock and roll metal throwback feel. Their work really has that strength with such an aggressive force and power, whether it be on the music, the power metal basis, with sometimes a symphonic metal intrusion, as that last song highlighted. Subtle, but it was so good. Or just on vocals, right? Nils was the point of connection for me, Nils Malin. Being familiarized to his work on both the Ad Infinitum Afterlife collaborative song as well as Amaranth extensively. Dynasty was going to be an eventual appearance here. They were a recommendation to me down below, and I satisfy those, God willing, if I can get to those names, and it is my ambition to. They've been on my mind for some time. I'm grateful to finally be getting to them. And as I said, though, with Firesign in consideration, the other albums we're going to be humoring of more recent standing I dug back a bit again to get that good foundation to their work and get the best all-rounded perspective possible, and to highlight that for other fellow listeners who are taking the journey with me on a first approach. I know some of you might be, though I'm sure many of you are longtime fans of this group that advanced me, and I welcome your company as well. I like that point of diversity of approach that we can take here. I know probably many of you are approaching on a first-name basis. And I welcome you as well. I think you're going to have a fun ride with this group. If this is going to be your first introduction, I recommend you dig back to the previous tracks we've highlighted here, because they're both really good. But I think this one will be attractive. Certainly Untitling it evokes that. But just being familiar now with Dynasty, True Tracks In, and Nils more extensively, they're going to deliver. 100%. I think you'll be satisfied. As I was saying, though, in terms of foundation, this album in previous lineup on what I'd selected was a bit light. It only 2 tracks where the other 2 albums, I think in order of release date going in ascending pattern, went from 4 and 5. This only had 2, so I decided to broaden out via the iTunes storefront page, and In the Arms of the Devil also showed at least a popular reception, though there wasn't a visualizer to accompany. That's normally the model I run by in terms of determining a selection. I looked at the standing of it like, okay, that's attractive at the very least in terms of purchase rates and downloads, but on name, I like it. It has a bit of a darker mood. I'm curious to dive deeper with it. I have kind of skimmed the lyrics, and there's some creative phrasing here. I'm excited, though, to match it with music, and that is very much going to be a first impression, right? We're going to take that route together. Maybe some of you, again, are approaching on a familiar basis with this particular track and Dynasty much more extensively than I am, and so you're getting the perspective of somebody who is very much taking a first step footing. Some of you, though, might be mimicking my path and following along. Perhaps your first approach into the European rock and metal territory, and once you step in, as I said many times, you will not want to leave. It is so addicting of a space, and if you're into good art, they always deliver, whatever group it might be. Dynasty has. I just love that classic throwback feel. With their own individual personality and force and dominance to their music, such a sufficient delivery and prowess. Get ready for a fun ride. I think I can say that just on presumption. But In the Arms of the Devil, let's see where this goes. You got me on the title, and at the very least the reception paints a promising picture. And such strong introductions, like 3 tracks in, they're all like, okay, you want a jump start, here we go. I'm loving it. The aggression is a great match to the title's feeling. And that pattern.
Justify the reasons why you set my world on fire.
I like the higher snare. That Williams great. Man, I love this. The layering, good choice. The background layer on the higher inflection. Such gem points for me. Nice drop. Curious. I think it works. Love it. Oh man, it's so natural on tracking. Oh man, those intrusions on the lighter snares. Very foreboding, dark, just love it. Works so well. When that kicks in. Is that the band doing the backup vocals or is that him? Just at different octave choices. It's just so beautiful in the integration. Oh my word, that's such a good choice. I love the drops. His breaks. Wow. And here's our instrumental break, made sense. They went into this so well. It's perfect. That bridge instrumental, man, that's just fabulous. That'll stick in my mind for sure. And these guitar riffs are so smooth. Mainstream rock flair, but they deliver. Key choice, I kind of see it building that way. Let's see. Together. Am I right or am I wrong? Maybe not. I don't think so. I love the choice to make it softer. I love that. Nope, we're doing the rewind. Nice. That's the preferred choice for me. My favorite track on the album thus far, for sure. That's just so good. You know, as I've said many times, I gravitate to the more aggressive metal. Though I'm open, intentionally. Because you find music generally, in terms of what I would qualify as good art, I keep an open door for that, if possible. So even stuff in the ballad space, I'm open to, as many of you know. And in other genres as well, maybe different types of song feels and approaches, specifically in the metal regard, though it is a favorite for me. Though maybe there's a couple occasions where I deviate a bit. I know of some songs that are going to, and artists that are going to take a different approach in what's coming. But my primary passions reside, again, in that aggressive metal throttle. That song has such a killer drive to it, the momentum, the pacing, highly effective, that rock root. The music for me on that just works so well. The instrumental focus on that bridge, that'll stick out. The choice to do the breaks and where they're employed, if it drops, the isolation, fabulous ideas. This song demonstrates so much in power. I love the mood of it. With the vocals too, the chance for Nils, of course, as always, to demonstrate his vocal talents in a number of different octave choices. Namely in this one, in the mid to the higher range, it works beautifully. I love it. Plus the background vocals, on behalf of, I'm assuming, some of the other members, works. That linger in I think it was in the arms of the devil I rest, that line. Such swift momentum to the piece, but I love the execution. It's just so perfect. And the lyrics, creative writing. Sometimes it's a bit hard for, as I've said many times, when you take a first impression approach to covering music, some works need more time to register and sink into how they might apply to you, how you might be inspired by them, and how you understand them and analyze their message. And I'm not going in terms of a knowledge of a declared ambition on behalf of the group, as I sometimes will do. I just haven't looked into that extensively. Feel free to supply that down below if you happen to know. But a piece like this, you just know, I come from a writing background as well, what I majored in, so it's one of the first things I notice. Just such creative phrasing. Justify the reasons why you set my world on fire, only get cast into the flames of falseful bliss, a Judas kiss, you set my soul on fire. I love that playful rhyming structure. It works beautifully. And Judas kiss, I love that phrasing. It's so cool. Man, I like it. There's a bit of like an inspirational, rebellious move that this kind of evokes, at least in the way I understand it, at least just on a first temptation. But, and it's the music on that number that just captivates. My gosh, the tracking on that score is amazing. I just love it so much. The momentum, the force, the power. I love anything of a more aggressive edge, and that piece is just, it's like we're going to go full throttle and we're off to the races with Dynasty. This is just such a killer experience. And the first two preceding works were great, right? In their own respects. Just the dominance of this piece and how encompassing it is in terms of your attention. It doesn't let up at all, other than established pauses and breaks that work beautifully to the focus of the song. It just feels natural. It's got such an even flow. I love the drive of it. It connects beautifully, and I can't wait to hear more from Dynasty in the future. Anything that this track might be reminiscent of, I'm grateful I chose, by the way, to expand. And I would have, I would have gone through, in post of covering Dynasty, and I probably would have explored some of the album in past releases as well and in completion for sure. But, listening to music on your own just isn't the same. It's fun to experience it corporately, right? With a mutual respect that if I can provide this in any way again, that we get to entertain good work together, perhaps for the first time, and explore things for ourselves, right? In our shared interest of just diving deep, maybe into good art, or more specifically, maybe you're also a metalhead or a rock fan, an enthusiast by choice. I love being able to provide in a way that we can enjoy good art, in a sense that expands it beyond just having an isolated encountering, especially for works that deserve it, and perhaps to maybe inspire you, right? With new groups, new ventures you haven't taken yet. Maybe Dynasty qualifies within the arms of a devil. That song is good, and I hope it launches you in terms of a favoritism that I am now experiencing with Dynasty, certainly of a drive to dig down deeper, and we will be as promised. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below if you do wish to disclose your perspective and your angle of approach, whether you are a longtime fan or a first listener, and from whatever camp, I welcome you. I hope for that, again, of a mixture of perspective that we take. What were your thoughts on In the Arms of a Devil? I'd love to hear about it down below. It stands out for me on the album. That is a favorite of mine off of Fire Sign. And true, I have one piece of what I've lined up currently in terms of finishing our selection of this album before diving deeper in terms of more recent releases. In fact, the title track is what's coming next, Fire Sign. So we'll see maybe if that'll become my favorite. But the first two pieces were great, especially on evoking again a classic rock and roll mood, or classic metal too, to be inclusive of that. That was definitely stressed. But In the Arms of a Devil, the drive on that number, that sticks. The momentum, its power. I love how exhilarating it is of a work. Just stands out for me. But not one I'm going to easily forget about for sure. And I want to humor it again immediately. It is a significant tune of theirs I think clicks so well, especially on musical envisionment, the structuring. Those isolations, I can't get over how well those are placed. This number includes everything for me. An immediate, memorable experience. I can't wait to humor it again. I imagine many of you, I don't like to speak for anybody, but I would imagine that many of you would share in that that adoration as well. That piece just commands so much. It's such a good number. I can't wait to hear more from Dynasty. Our journey thus far has been great, but That is the standout thus far. My word, that number's good. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.